Hello everyone and welcome to this EV Geek Studios video. I am Sebastian, the one and only Mr. Joel Spencer is behind the camera.
Hola.
And this is a 2025 Lucid Air Touring. So this isn't our first time with the Lucid Air on this channel. We had a previous earlier model once before, but this being a 2025 should be fairly representative of what a new Lucid Air would be like. I mean, it is technically a used car. This one has about 6,000 miles. Interesting story. This was a rental for Enterprise? I want to know what level of Enterprise customer you have to be to walk into an Enterprise and get the keys to this.
Is that not like the platinum level?
Like a Mitsubishi Mirage or a GMC Terrain.
Ford Focus for me.
Chevy Trax or Nissan Altima. How do you get a Lucid Air from Enterprise? Let me know. Anyway, but this is the Touring. So this is kind of the middle spec of the Lucid Air. It has a 92 kilowatt hour battery pack. This one has a 19-inch wheel, so it has 406 miles of EPA rated range. I think in EPA testing it was at like 4.4 miles per kilowatt hour, which that is one thing we can talk about. Like Lucid is magically efficient and they're like really good at packaging for their motors or whatever. And it's really obvious as you start looking at things like the trunk and the front trunk and stuff, which we'll take a look at in the tour. So like always in all of our videos, we're gonna do a full exterior tour. We'll get inside the car, take a look at software and all that jazz, and then take it out for a spin. So without further ado, let's plug in and get started. All right, so 2025 Lucid Air. Let's just talk about the Lucid Air in general. First off, you've already made a comment about it a couple times. This thing is long. And I noticed kind of immediately when we took our thumbnail, it is also very short. I am 6 foot tall and it is like at chest level.
And you've already bumped your head a few times.
I've already bumped my head a few times. We'll talk about that in a minute. But if you look at the front, the Lucid Air has looked like this the whole time. It's very distinctive styling where you get this like light bar-esque signature around the front. Lucid spelled out. This is a huge front trunk area, which we'll look at here in a little bit, but you can kind of see this one has a license plate holder and then your radars and all that there at the bottom. Pretty understated, simple front end. It really works and it makes the car kind of that much more slippery. You can see you also have some functional air vents up here at the top of the hood, which we'll be able to see when we open the front trunk here later. Coming around here, those are again 19-inch wheels. These are kind of the base standard wheels on this trim level. 406 miles of range with these wheels. You can see they have just like an aero insert. There's a decent amount of brake dust behind them, but that's fine. All right, let's talk about charging. So your charge port is here on the front driver's side. To open it, I haven't figured out, it's a power situation. You press it, okay, I guess right there is a good spot. It very slowly lowers down. You can see this has a CCS port. This is 97 kilowatt hours, as previously mentioned. They tend to 80s in around 30 minutes, and because it's a smaller battery pack, this one has a peak of around 250 kilowatts. The big battery Grand Touring has a peak of around 300 kilowatts in a similar 10 to 80 time because it's a bigger battery pack. These are 800 volt class vehicles. These are actually closer to 900 volts. The Grand Tourings, I know for a long time, would actually error out on the CPE 250 charge point units, because at the top voltage, it was like right at the threshold for what the CPE 250 could output. Anyway, to close it, not a button, so I'm assuming I just, yeah.
Why do they over-engineer these
I don't
things,
know.
Sebastian?
And it just very slowly goes back up. These also, I believe, have an 80 amp onboard charger.
Oh, wow.
Which, I mean, cool.
Yes.
You've got these power presenting door handles, which this one is not locked currently, so they're out, but when it's locked, they fold in flat. You can take a quick peek, first glance at the interior. You'll notice there on the door sill, it tells you it's a Lucid, Mojave, California, it says, and has some coordinates, just in case you need to know. And there's a couple other areas on the outside that remind you that this is a Lucid Air Touring. You can see you've got a little applique here where it says Touring. If this was a Grand Touring, it would say Grand Touring. And if it was a Pure, it would assume say Pure Air.
The Pure is the one we got last time, right?
I don't think so.
It wasn't? Okay.
Around back, you have this LED light bar signature that goes all the way across the trunk with the Lucid badging behind it. Again, Air Touring. To open it, this is a power trunk. You got a button right here. Whole thing lifts up, and you have a huge, wide opening. It's also very deep. But remember that thing I was talking about, the Lucid being really good at powertrain packaging? So this is an all-wheel drive vehicle, right? Pop that open, and you have a whole area under the trunk that is the size of some cars' trunks.
Yes.
Like, really good. Like, I mean, this is not a small bag, and it fits in perfectly. You have these side pockets, which you can see actually do pass through. You can lift it up, and you can see there's even a 12-volt outlet in that one. Very cool. Boom, boom. Close it, power. And if you want to hop into the back, I'll hop in on this side. We'll take a quick look at this back seat. Watch your head.
Yes. As we've stated before, Sebastian has hit it a few times. Holy cow, there's a lot of room back here.
So yeah, that's like the first thing you notice is we are both 6 foot tall. These seats are where we just were and had plenty of room. And I mean, 8 inches?
I'd say, oh yeah, I'd say 8 to 10 probably for you.
Which,
sitting back, I'd say almost a foot maybe.
Yeah, which is just crazy. You can see you have heated seats back here. You have this little screen as well for sunshades, which I can hit this button and have the rear sunshade pop up.
As we call them, peasant blockers.
You also have those on the sides.
They keep that up, it actually looks better in here now.
Voila. Swipe that out. And you can go back, you have climate menu so you can change your temperatures. You have 4-zone climate in this vehicle, cool. And heated seats in all 3 positions. And a little storage pocket.
Oh, cool.
And I'm assuming cup holders. Cup holders.
And they got something behind it too,
And a center console. And a ski pass through to the trunk.
Nice.
Very cool. And this is like an actual like latched in piece, which is nice. And you can see once you're back here, so this is obviously low. You have to duck to get under it to get in. But once you're in, glass roof, nicely tinted. And I mean, if you take I'm 6 foot tall. I've got about
2-3 inches?
2 fingers worth of space above me. I mean, this is comfortable. You got air vents in the pillars, which is where they should be. That's it. I don't believe, climate's not on back here. One thing I'm never
Now
mind.
it is.
2 USB-C ports down here. I was about to say, I was like, where have USB-C? Surely there's some back there. And you have some nice hard storage pockets, a nice little cloth fabric there.
Get your little...
To get out, you can take a first peek at the weird door handles. So they are a manual door handle, which I do enjoy. Like, that's a good thing.
But
they like slide back and pop. And at this point, I think there's only one thing left to look at, and that would be the front trunk. So what I will do is I will pop that from the screen here. We could not find a way to pop it from the exterior of the vehicle. I'm assuming you could do it in the app or something, but we don't have the app.
We don't have that all synced up. Nope.
But I'll do it from there. It is a power front trunk. And at first glance, I mean, it's big, but it's not very deep, right? Except, psych, it's like the same depth as the one in the back. It's massive. I'm assuming this can also just come out to really show you just how giant that front trunk is. And again, this is an all-wheel drive vehicle. There is a motor up there. Somewhere hiding in there. This one, I believe, since it's a Touring, is around 650 horsepower. Just, measly numbers.
And it's on the used market, these are pretty good. I think this is around high 50s that Colin has sent before over at Evolve.
Yeah.
So huge shout out to Colin at Evolve. He just got us in a few days ago. Let us take this out today. But yeah,
one thing that's a little scary is to close it, the button's right here.
And you got to move.
And you'll notice when I hit it, it starts moving quick.
There's no like 3-second beep you get on some of them.
It starts going.
Yep.
All right, let's get in and take a look at the interior. All right, you guys now join us inside this Lucid Air. You can see we moved into the shade to make the screens more visible and to help us out because it's hot outside. And we don't have the air turned up super loud so that you can hear us toasty. Talk. So just kind of right off the bat, you notice you have this very interesting binnacle infotainment screen layout, secondary screen, big center console that does have a cover. Contains your 2 cup holders, a wireless phone charger, and yep, that's about it. You can pop that open. My bad. You've got a small center console here with a little tray with a bear inside, because that's kind of Lucid's spirit animal being. Go ahead and pop that back in. And one thing you can do with the screen, if you need more storage, is you can yeet it out of the way. And now you have a much larger space there that you can store junk in. To get it back, you swipe back on it, and it comes back. You can see, so this is that, you have this like cloth texture here. You've got some wood grain here, and then that same cloth up on the top of the dash. I actually kind of like it. I think it looks nice.
Yeah, me too.
You can see you have an ambient light strip up on the front of the dash. I don't know if the camera can pick that up.
It can't.
We'll mention that just real quick here. So these are kind of the themes that you get from Lucid. They don't let you just pick a color. So you have Escape, which is like a bluey color. Space, which is more white.
That's me, baby.
Solitude, which is a shade of brown. Serene, which goes back to being blue. Wonder, which is a reddish brown.
Call that salmon. And
Inspire, which is also blue. You have a strip up here on the roof as well that is currently not lit up. But it is there. I'm wondering if I can make it light up. Nope. It's on. Yeah, it's just not very bright.
Yep, it's on. There we go. You can see it a little bit, yeah.
Anyway, we'll put that back on auto. We'll get back out of that. We'll start talking about that. Let's go ahead and now just kind of talk about this lower screen. So this is the vehicle menu. So this is almost like the default area. You have your drive modes: smooth, swift, sprint, and you can change your levels of regen. Nice. I like that off. I like that it is on high. Off is an option if you're not into that kind of thing. You have your trip computer down here as well. Boom. And you can open the glove box, which this does have very aggressively. There you go. You have your also adjustments here for your steering wheel, which surprisingly they do not use the buttons for these adjustments. So you do legitimately just press here and it moves. Pretty easy. And then you can save your profile. And the mirror adjustments are the same way. I'm so used to these EVs that do this, putting the controls on the steering wheel itself and not just having them down here. Close out of that, you can also power fold here and adjust the brightness of all 3 screens. Then you can hit openings, and now I can open the charge port, open the front trunk, raise and lower that rear window shade like we were talking about, and open the trunk. I also have a child lock function and a window lock. Nice. Seats menu. So you can come in here to adjust for the seats if you need. So you can move the seats forward and backward here. You also have the buttons on the side of the seat, and you have all of these different options. So you have position, height, which this is as low as the seat gets. And I feel like I'm too high. And part of the reason I feel like that is this pillar.
The A-pillars are huge.
The A-pillar is massive. I feel like I could hide an entire family behind the A-pillar, and I would never know they were there.
So if you're curious how big they are, you can see over here, too. They're just massive.
Like, that's a pretty significant blind spot, in my opinion. Yeah. Moving on, you have your recline. You have cushion tilt, which is maxed out for me. Lumbar support. Backrest width. Oh, okay. Thigh support.
Thigh support.
Oh,
let's go out.
So that, okay, makes sense. Gosh, they go way further in, too. Interesting. And, ooh, the headrest, you can tilt it. I don't know that I've ever
seen a tilted headrest.
Seen a headrest that tilts back and forth. Anyway, and I can do the same thing for the passenger. One thing we noticed while we were driving is the passenger can move the driver's seat while you're in motion, which feels like you shouldn't be able to do that.
It should be locked.
Go ahead and extend this thigh support back out. Cool. You have massaging seats in here, which this is one of the first vehicles I feel like I've been in that actually massages not just your back,
but your booty.
It also does your butt. And you have a rolling, you have unwind, wave, stretch, and deep. We'll put it on deep. Why not?
Just for
let me hit start. There you go.
Passenger, and oh yeah, let's go.
All right.
Get it for 20 minutes.
And so we had themes. We already been there, and you have your charging menu. So this is where you can come in. You can set your charge limits. So they tell you daily charging. They recommend 80%. For the distance, 100%. You can go down to 50. We'll set it back to about 80%. Done. You can have an on-demand battery preconditioning, which is nice. Electrify America, I guess, free advertising there. Sure. And it tells you it will start it gives you kind of some tips. So start 20 minutes before fast charging, may reduce your remaining range. You can still plug in while preconditioning. Sure. We'll confirm, and you'll start hearing, you might hear things like crank up. One thing I did note, so right now you notice it's showing us 38%, again, 80 amp onboard charger. So you can either have this car show you your state of charge in percent or show you a guessometer. You cannot have both. So if you are unfamiliar, like, you know, I know I'm at 38%, like even here on the gauge cluster. I do not know how many miles that is. You would have to actually come in here, go to the settings, displays, units, distance. It's 152 miles.
Gotcha.
But now I don't know what percent I'm at.
So you can't have both.
You can't have both. And you'll notice when you do that, it changes it here too. Which I feel like, if anything, this should always just be percentage. But I digress. I'm going to send that back to percentage.
We live our lives in percentages.
And you can set up your charge schedules. You can open port here, and you can adjust that current limit down to 10 amps. You know, these Lucids are some of the only cars that on the market still currently today that actually do vehicle to vehicle. So they sell a cable that you can put on the charge port, and then it's just another charge port on the other side, so that you can actually use the Lucid Air battery to directly charge another battery, just from charge port to charge port. No, like, you know, no 50 amp outlet that you plug an EVSE to or anything like that. Pretty neat stuff. You have a setting here to also turn on and off your preconditioning while you're navigating, which is nice. You have your climate menu, so you can see temperature. You just slide it around. Same thing for fan speed. You do have heated seats in the rear, like we mentioned. Cooled seats and heated seats up front. Heated steering wheel. Nice. I was actually controlling the rear there for a minute. I'm going to turn that back off because no one's back there. You have buttons up here too to do max AC. You have dog mode, which is nice. So you have creature comfort, which takes over, you know, shows messaging on the screens, whatever. It does warn you it will turn off automatically if the car gets to 2%. And you can also just keep climate, which is not for creature mode, so it won't show anything on the screens or anything, but it will keep
somewhere click.
But it will keep your car cool. And then you have some other settings for your auto conditioning seats and things like that. You've got cooled seats on right now. They're not very strong. No, they're not. I've noticed. They're definitely keeping the seat from becoming muggy, but they're not strong. Come into settings. You can see this does support over-the-air updates. This one has one available. We haven't installed it yet because I didn't know how long it would take. I saw someone talking about, I think Gravity just got a big update, and it was like a 3-hour update, which is insane. But it did add a bunch of good stuff. Anyway, you've got your profiles. You've got applications. So you've got some third-party media in here like Spotify. And you can sign in. Please don't sign into this car, Spotify. I don't know if that would work. You've got your audio, connectivity. This does support Apple CarPlay. We'll talk about that in a second when we get to the top screen. You've got your Dream Drive settings. Let's see what all is here. Cool. Vehicle settings, so like tire pressures and things like that. And safety security, which is just like this alarm. And you have your park menu, which pulls up a front view camera on the top that you can also switch to rear view. And you have a giant 360 display here, which looks really cool until you realize just how distorted these side ones are. They like show the cars next to you and they look like they're 100 feet tall. It's a very weird experience, and you can kind of fly around the car though in this mode. So you can go to the front. You can go to, how'd you do this?
I did it before, Sebastian, and it worked.
Oh,
there you go.
There you go. You can fly around. So what I noticed is like you hit that button to go back to center, but when you're like zoomed into the front or the back, the button's gone. So you kind of end up like in a, but yeah, you can fly around the car. It is neat. I just feel like the interface could maybe be tuned a little bit better. It also does pull this up automatically as you're like moving into park or whatever, and you're moving slowly. It'll automatically pull up and it tells you like how many inches you are away from stuff and things like that. Get back out of that. Let's talk about the top screen. So the top screen is your primary like navigation display, almost like you can see here. You have some navigation here. You can set up, you have to wait for it to load. You have your media and your phone. But you can also notice, so like anything I have up here, you notice now like the map is here as well. And so I can actually come in here and set things here. So I can come in and type in Austin, Texas. Go.
Follow the after 900 feet, turn right onto.
Bye-bye.
And you've got a map. It's taking it a second to load in there. But you can see it did automatically add charging spots, which is nice.
So one stop? No, more than that.
There's like more than one.
Yeah.
I'll try to see.
Three.
It's not showing.
Looks like 3.
Me. I probably shouldn't have hit start yet. It's probably what I should have done. I should have just typed in. It's on me. Show route.
There it is.
There we go. And I should be able to click those. Oh,
It won't let you?
there we
it
go.
is.
Nope, that charger doesn't work.
Yep.
Flying Jane Texarkana for 17 minutes to go from 30 to 85.
Charge point.
15 minutes. Oh, that's a 350 kilowatt though. That must be Rockwall. That's
right before you cross the lake to get to Dallas.
That's is that Bucky's? I think that's Bucky's. 26 to 78. Mercedes and Temple, 7 minutes.
That's Bucky's.
And anyway, but yeah, so it does show preconditioning and not preconditioning, on route charging and all that. And you do have settings in here, if I remember right, to come in and adjust.
There's a map update too.
There's a map update. Maybe not. I was trying to see if there was a way to adjust like state of charge on arrival or whatever. But if there is, it's not obvious.
Nope.
Anyway, but one thing you note is like I can then just take this and slide it out of the way, and you can see now everything I was just doing is up here, and that works on all of these apps. So like if I hit media, say I hit Spotify, I should be able to then take this, and now it's here. And so I can hit AM/FM radio, and now it's here, and then I can send it away. Boom! Now it's up there.
Yep.
Which is a pretty neat design. Let's talk about CarPlay. We brought it up. This does have CarPlay, wireless, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay.
That's probably the one thing that bugs you in this car.
That
screen
is the most comical implementation of CarPlay I think I've ever seen.
We have this huge dead space over here.
Giant dead space here.
Yep.
Giant dead space here, which I know this is Apple's fault because Apple won't let you do anything that's not a rectangular screen. But I feel like you could have shifted this over because Apple will let you do an ultra wide screen.
Yeah.
And so you could have at least filled up more of this instead of just having the world's tiniest map view, the world's tiniest music view. Anyway, and I mean, it does work. It's pretty responsive. It is wireless, which is nice. I can come in here and I can hit, my apps are in a different order on this car than they are on mine. Like it opens, it'll load up Spotify. That's my phone's fault and data fault. But like works well. It shows you what's playing on the right here on your gauge cluster. It's just so small.
Yeah.
It's just so small. It's not a good experience. And you can clip that. I don't care. Yeah. Not a whole lot to talk about on the gauge cluster. You can see you have your speedometer big here in the middle, charge, power, trip computer on the right, drive mode, odometer, media. And I mean, that just changes your volumes. This looks like it will
probably change the stations.
Play, pause, change stations, voice assistant, driving assistance functions, horn. Prindle is a bop it, push down for drive, up for reverse, in for park. Wiper stalk, nothing on this side. You do have a little screen here with some quick toggles for like your light control, your wipers, which I'll
defrost.
Which you do have auto wipers, it looks like. Oh, okay. Some defrost settings, open and close that front trunk. Cool. You can do that from inside, and since it's power, I can also close it. And I can open and close the charge port door from here as well. But other than that, pretty simple for that. One quick peek last time at this big glass roof that kind of goes over us with the Division and then the fixed in place sun visors that are kind of mounted to the windshield in an interesting fashion. Ready to take it for a spin?
Let's do it. Alrighty, you finally get to see my beautiful face now. I know you're all disappointed about that. Sebastian is behind the wheel of this 2025 Lucid Air Touring, just winding through the city streets here, getting ready to hop on the interstate up here. So Sebastian, we kind of goosed a little.
Yeah. So in sprint mode, you can tell the drive mode's definitely changed the throttle, the pedal response and whatnot.
Yes.
Sprint mode definitely, you get a lot more of that instant torque feeling than you do it in smooth. Pretty dang good power, pretty dang good like acceleration and all that, especially considering this is just the touring model. Doesn't have the bigger battery with slightly more power. It does not the Sapphire with 1,234 horsepower.
Wheel squeal
like
just a bit.
Just a teeny tiny bit of squeal. Not anything crazy. Anyway, like good power. Suspension is largely fine. This car does sit very low to the ground, so you can tell that as you're driving it. There's not near as much suspension travel to soak up bumps and things like that, but it is largely fine.
It feels massive when you're
It does feel massive when you're inside of it, and some of that too is these giant pillars that I mean, I kid you not, I cannot see that intersection right there.
Yeah.
and we're a good distance back from the intersection, and I cannot see it.
And what surprised me is this car being so massive. You see no roofline.
Yeah,
It's just straight down.
it's just right down. Also, still not super in love with the seating position. I can tell these seats are comfortable. Like you can adjust them in every way. You can make them hug you. You can adjust the headrest, things like that. But I just feel like I'm like 6 foot tall, and I'm like in this space where I feel like I need the seat to be lower, and it won't go lower unless you move it further back. But then if I move it further back, my feet can't reach the pedals. It's like I can't seem to lock it in exactly where I want to be. That's my only kind of gripe with seating position.
It reminds me of the racing games you play at the car arcades. You're kind of far back on them.
Yes. And it's like, and it's one of those, I could probably just get used to it, especially if I was driving this thing like every day. But for now, I'm having a hard time. I do like when you put your turn signals on, you do get cameras up in your gauge cluster, which is really nice. Getting out on the highway, pretty quiet.
Yep.
Good
big old car and 19 wheels, 19-inch wheels.
Good noise isolation. I mean, you can definitely hear the road. You can hear the cars around us. You can hear the big truck that's right beside us. And we're stuck behind someone doing 60 miles an hour. And a big truck is right beside us, so we can't get over. But it's okay. I'll set my cruise control. There we go. It is set. And I kind of talked about this last time we were out here in a Lucid Air. So this just has Dream Drive. Whoever originally spec'd the car did not spec Dream Drive Pro. That means this does not have lane centering. It has lane departure, so like it'll ping pong you and it'll warn you if you start crossing into a lane or anything like that. But it will not keep you centered and help you steer. Not even hands-on.
Which is something we talked about every car should have.
It's at this point should be kind of standard. And when you remember how expensive this car is new.
Yep, there. So you just drifted out there. See?
When you think about how expensive this car is new, it just is really hard to justify.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're talking about a $100,000 car and it doesn't have something that a $25,000 Toyota Corolla would have.
Yeah.
It's a little... Now, of course, it's a luxury vehicle, so, people are like, well, with luxury cars, everything's an option. It's like, well, yes, but that doesn't mean it should be.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be an option.
It doesn't have to be. Just because you guys are okay with it doesn't mean it's okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so no lane centering out here, which means I'm strictly only using adaptive cruise right now. I am not using any sort of assistance otherwise, which is a bit of a bummer, and it keeps ping-ponging me a little bit around.
Yep.
But now that little soapbox is out, we can kind of just talk about. So I can definitely hear wind noise coming from weirdly the back, which I'm not quite sure what's up with that. That's why I double checked. Like, windows are up. I'm not sure why it would be coming from the back and not the front, which is a bit odd. This big glass roof is actually really nice. That said, I kind of wish you could do the Model X thing and have this be over here.
Yeah.
Because Model X uses the magnet situation.
This would be just one clean line.
And it's just one clean line. This is glued to the windshield right in front of you.
Yeah.
I wish it was to the side. Anyway, just to really make it that big immersive experience. It vibrates the steering wheel as you're alert, because I touched the lane line and it vibrated the wheel. It doesn't make a noise or anything, or at least if it does, it's not turned on. Sound system seemed pretty decent when we were using it earlier. We were just using some 90s dad butt rock, whatever genre music. So not anything that would be like very dynamic, but it sounded pretty decent to me. Especially, I've definitely heard worse, much more expensive cars. Go ahead and get my little camera view pulled up. Nice. I really do love that feature every time I'm in a car that has it. Joel, what do you think kind of as a passenger?
It's very good. These seats are very comfortable. They're very wide.
And see, for you don't have to worry about the driving part, so you can just stretch out and relax. You're not worried about reaching pedals.
My legs are almost fully stretched out here in the front. So very, very comfortable. So thinking of on a long distance haul, this would be a very comfortable seating position. What do you say? What's about 400? How many miles?
406.
406 miles.
Is the EPA rated range. Lucid's pretty efficient typically. So like on the EPA cycle, it was showing 4.4 miles per kilowatt hour. Okay. Which, I mean, if you include highway driving, that's pretty dang nice.
It is.
I'd be curious to see. I'm just gonna real quick. Let me reset trip B. Oh yeah, it's a four-way stop. I forget.
Well, he wanted to let you know that too. That Charger.
That was a Corvette.
That was a Corvette.
Yeah. So I've reset trip B. I'm just curious. We're gonna get out here, set it to cruise control, and just do normal speeds and see kind of what our efficiency is over on this little leg. Not doing anything crazy. just to see kind of how that compares. But I've always heard that they're very efficient. That's how they get such big range figures on their small battery packs. I mean, the Grand Touring is almost 500 miles of range from a 112 kilowatt hour battery.
I realize this has about the same size as my EV9.
Yeah,
it has 100 miles more.
Right.
Yeah.
Now it's a sedan, not a 3-row SUV. And there's some other, things to take into account there. But I'm just.
But there are ways to be efficient without putting a huge battery pack in it.
And part of it too is, I mean, I know we've talked about it on the podcast before, but the size of the motor itself, and like the fact that it's the motor and the inverter and all that, and the fact that it's like this big.
You can hold it in one hand.
Can't take my hands off.
Can't take your hands off the wheel.
Anyway, but yeah, like you can. It's maybe a little bit larger than a piece of paper. It's like impressive stuff. Anyway, we'll do a little status update on this efficiency once we get back and do our final thoughts. But I feel like at this point, have you said what you wanted to say?
I've said what I want to say. We're going to head back to Evolve and give you our final thoughts. So see you in a bit. All right, we are back at Evolve Auto. I can't talk today. Huge shout out to Colin and the team for letting us borrow this baby today. If you're interested in this, look them up. Give them a shout and see if you're interested. So final thoughts. So we were talking about, pull up the trip meter again. We talk about that. So that last little run, 6.2 miles, we averaged 4.3 miles per kilowatt hour.
Yeah, 4.36.
And then the overall for this car, which has about 7,000 miles on, is 3.03. So yeah, that's pretty efficient. So my takeaway is it's a very comfortable, very spacious interior. This car is almost too big, almost. This was designed to compete with the Model S. So which rightfully so it does. But just RIP. And this just feels. It just feels massive, but it's comfortable. It's a nice ride. You do get some wind noise for some reason over the back. Don't know what that is, but I didn't really pay attention to it until you said something about it. But yeah, big car, big range, with a relatively smaller battery, so it's nice that they make it efficient. Sebastian, your thoughts?
Yeah, so, I mean, I agree with all the stuff you just said. The driving position's still a little odd to me. I'm not still used to it. I've also noticed the dead pedal, which I can't show you this right now, but the dead pedal is weirdly far over. Because, I keep wanting to put my foot here, which is not where it is. It's actually more towards the...
It's very close to the brake.
It's very close to the brake, which just feels wrong. Yeah. Anyway, I'm sure I can get used to it. I digress. So, as we're driving it, software is very high-tech and fancy, but it definitely seems like it could still use some polish. It seems like Lucid maybe isn't all the way there yet. And I know this car gets over the updates. It's in a much better state now than it was when it was new. And all that, but it still feels like it needs a little love. And we've seen some of that too throughout the day. Like we've had some weird key issues and things like that, which I hear is still a thing on a lot of the new Lucids, and it was a thing on Gravity when it launched, and just seems to be an area that could use improvement. This car for new is $80,000 with no options. $80,000 for a car without basic lane centering seems asinine.
Yep. And we've talked about this with Teslas too.
Yeah, and we've talked about this with Tesla taking away autopilot. It just seems asinine. For these EV makers to be doing this. And I don't want to harp on it too much because I'm going to get people in comments. I'm sure I'm like, well, it's a luxury car. That's normal. It's whatever. It's I don't care.
Yeah.
If a $25,000 Toyota Corolla will keep you in your lane, an $80,000 ground up, high tech, whatever Lucid Air should be able to do that. It's got the cameras. It's got the sensors. The only reason it doesn't do it is because they want you to pay for Dream Drive Pro. Or Dream Drive Premium, or whatever the heck they call it now. And that just drives me insane because this should be an amazing road trip.
It should be.
But you have to manually drive it. You can do cruise control, but you have to manually put input in. And even basic lane steering, you have to keep your hands on the wheel, whatever. I get that. That's not the point though. It's it's still it gives you a little bit of freedom to occasionally look over, so take a glance or whatever, and not be worried about, oh, I'm out of my lane.
Yep.
Oh, I'm whatever. It's when you get so I know some of this too is we've kind of been conditioned to be worse drivers now because the cars take care of so much for us. But when you're at this point in 2026, you're so used to every car kind of helping you and taking care of you. When you get in a car that's not helping you, it just feels weird. It feels wrong.
Yep.
That said, I mean, other than my having complaints about driving position, the seats are comfortable. The AC is working well. The cooled seats, while not super strong, I can definitely tell the seat is cool.
Yep.
Which is nice. I love this big glass roof, whatever, with the little partition. I would like these to maybe be over here, because then you see it's nice, clear, open space.
Especially because you have these huge A-pillars.
Especially with these gigantic A-pillars, which hurt visibility a little bit. But the packaging is awesome. The gigantic front trunk that's probably close to the same size as the real trunk. Having that massive amount of space in the second row seats. Like, this is such a great package. I just need them to tweak the software a little bit, make it a little better. And I need, like, we've got to start putting lane centering in these things. Like, without having to pay for Dream Drive Pro or whatever the upgrade cost is, which is a few $1,000s. Like, it's not cheap on a car that already has all the hardware there.
Is that a wrap?
I think that's a wrap.
All right, y'all. Thanks for watching today. To check out this review and other reviews, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Also, tap that notification icon, and we will see you again in another EV Geek Studio review. So long, everyone.